Welcome, guys. We are continuing to do our predictions this time for week one matchup of Penn State and West Virginia in Morgantown, West Virginia. Game kicks at 11 o'clock. Penn State, an 8.5-point favorite. Guys, how are we feeling about this Penn State West Virginia game? It's an interesting matchup. Schools are kind of close together. Fan bases have a little overlap, but they don't really play each other. So it's a fun little game. What you got?
Go ahead, Freddie. I was just gonna say, so like this game last year was actually a good game too. It was at Penn State last year. Ended up being, I think it was like a 12, 13 point win for Penn State, but it was a hard fought win for a week one matchup. I'm looking forward to this one as well. I think this is one of those games that may fly under the radar because we have some of the higher end teams or like matchups later on that day. For instance, at the same time, you have Georgia Clemson. And then, you have the Miami, Florida at 2:30, and then the nightcap at Notre Dame and Texas A&M. So this might be one of the games that kind of flies under the radar, and I think it'll be a very, very good game. Very curious to see the progress that Drew, is it Alar or Alar? People pronounce it differently. Aller. Okay, we'll go with that. I've heard different commentators say different things. How much better is he going to get, right? Like we thought, at least I thought last year he was going to be the saving grace for Penn State because sort of like Notre Dame, they've had a good defense. It's just the game-changing quarterback has been kind of the issue for Penn State. How much better is he going to get? I still expect their defense to be fantastic. Because they have a returning quarterback. Now, listen, West Virginia overachieved last year. We were on here and many other people were talking about Neil Brown being fired last year, and all of a sudden he has a phenomenal season last year and poised to make a push at the Big 12. So that's going to be fun to see as well. I've got Penn State winning this game. The 8.5, I'll take Penn State to cover that. I think they win by 10 at the end of the day. I think it'll be another hard-fought game, especially at West Virginia. But yeah, I'll take Penn State and the points.
Well, when you look at this game, I think this is a unique matchup. I know it happened last year, but still it's a unique matchup that's happening in week one of this year. It's really a fun, entertaining game. I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on this game. Pat McAfee's going to be there. I think they're opening up. Is College Game Day there? Is that what I read? Or is it just Pat McAfee's show? It's just McAfee's show? Mm-hmm. I think that's what it is. Because if you don't know, Pat McAfee, former punter, kicker for West Virginia before he went off and had a illustrious NFL career. So I think he's gonna make his way over there. So there's gonna be a lot of eyes on this game. Pat McAfee's hyping up Mountaineer Nation, and I think it's gonna be really fun to watch. And me personally, I'm super excited as an avid Penn State hater. I think this game could easily go down the tubes for him. When you look at it, Freddie already kind of mentioned Drew Aller. He's a good quarterback, but he didn't progress throughout the year last year. You saw him get in a lot of trouble with the pressure, the good defenses on him, and then just struggling to throw the ball downfield and be accurate downfield. He's got an arm. He's got an amazing arm, but he just cannot place the ball downfield, and that's what really hurt him last year. And then you got into some tight games with some really tough defenses, and the kid was lost. But this year, when you're looking at it for Penn State, James Franklin and co., this is their year. This should be their year. You play one of the two big Ohio State Michigans. You have a pretty easy schedule outside of that. You're not going to face a whole lot of turmoil going into this season. So these games like this one that you can't look over, you should. West Virginia here, it's easy to look over this game and just say, okay, well, all we have to worry about is Ohio State in the back end of the season or newcomer Washington or whatever. And so for me, that's where the problem is. I think Penn State overlooks this game. And you're about to say, Chase, you're going with the upset. I'm not. I'm going to stop you there. Penn State by 3, though. I think it's going to be a really tough game in West Virginia. I think it's going to be really, really hard to play. I'm going to take Penn State, but give me West Virginia on the points. You know what? I did say it last week with Georgia Tech and Florida State. I'm going to say this week, this could potentially still be an upset, though. I'm going to say +3 because Penn State should win this game, but I'm not going to be surprised if West Virginia does pull it off. Quentin?
I love that move, Chase. That's the move I made with Georgia Tech. Even though I picked Florida State to win by double digits, I still threw in the Georgia Tech couldn't pull the up. So I respect that move. It's a solid move to make. However, I think Penn State wins this game. I do think what you're talking about with with West Virginia and the atmosphere, I think they'll start out hot. In fact, I think they might jump out 10-0 on Penn State. But I think by halftime, you're talking about a one-score game either way. Penn State starts pulling away in the third. I think the Nittany Lions end up winning the game by about 12 points. I think it's not quite a 2-touchdown game, but I think they get over the 8.5 for sure. I just think you can say what you want about Drew Aller. He didn't do terrible last year until he got up into those matchups with the elite defenses in college football. West Virginia is not that. As much as I like West Virginia, they're not one of the premier defenses in the sport. And then vice versa, West Virginia is not used to taking on a defense like what Penn State's going to have. And let's be real, I don't know a whole heck of a lot about Penn State's roster going into your defensively as far as the ins and outs of how they're going to line people up in their different scheme fits. They're always going to be a top 20 defense. Like, they are going to be on the top end of the sport, usually top 10 defensively in statistics. So, again, I think Morgantown's going to give West Virginia a hot start, but I just think talent-wise on the back end of this game, there's just too much coming from the Nittany Lions for West Virginia to pull it off. I think the best thing they can do is keep this game close and competitive and then carry momentum into Big 12 play, where I think they match up a lot better against the top-end teams of their own conference rather than the top-end teams of all of college football, like what they're dealing with Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State won 38-15 last year, I believe it was. So pretty competitive game for the most part.
Yeah, so we'll see. Like we already know, week 0, Georgia Tech, big upset over Florida State. A lot of people are throwing around that they feel an 07 vibe coming in 2024. But I feel like we all say that every year, the moment we see the first upset, and we don't give credence to there's always early upsets because we overrank and underrank teams. So we'll see what happens when the Nittany Lions and Mountaineers face off at 11 o'clock Saturday. But like we said, I think we got a clean sweep here. Penn State. Chase thinks it's going to come down and go West Virginia on the spread. However, Penn State all around as far as the predictions. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. We got more videos just like this coming out every week, doing a little prediction series, who gets the best record by the end of the year. Make sure you stay tuned and find that out come national championship time. This has been 3 Bold Takes. I'm Quinn, been joined by Freddie and Chase, and we're out.